Sausalito, more than just a picturesque town on the bay, it's a launch pad for extraordinary lives and unique stories. Journey with us through 3 captivating episodes. First, meet Cyril Derreumaux, a Sausalito-based citizen of the world who takes on the vast oceans in his solo kayak. Then discover the enchanting world of Lisa Snyder and the historic floating home community. And finally, join us as we explore the vibrant heart of Sausalito with Jules Gismondi, uncovering local haunts and favorite spots that reflect the spirit of this unique coastal community.
Alone on the ocean, 91 days and 9 hours. Kayaking from Monterey to Hawaii. I have Cyril, I practice your last name, it's very French, Derreumaux.
Fantastic. Either you go through it and you live with the victory, or you're going to be the guy who tried. I wanted it bad. And this is the kind of thing you cannot want it halfway. Until you have your butt in a storm, you don't know what it's like. I'm going to enjoy the journey. Then I was living on a day-to-day. And then every day was like a discovery, and I didn't need to be arrived. No, I'll get there when I get there. And finally you arrive. This is life. I mean, I had this dream that was crazy, but I fought for it, I believed for it, I struggled for it.
And now I feel more alive than any time in my life. Thank you.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Bay Insider. My name's Ying. I have Amanda here, and we have our paddling hero, Cyril Derreumaux, with us today. Welcome, Cyril.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I have known you for a number of years now. You have done some amazing things. Last month, you came back from your Atlantic crossing, 71 days, solo, unsupported kayak, on a kayak, everyone. Yes. So that's, I mean, I can't even imagine. Amanda, can you?
No, and we're going to show some pictures in this that have the actual kayak, because you're going to provide us with that, which will obviously be over this.
It's a special kayak, but it's a kayak. So 71 days Atlantic crossing, 2,500 miles, right?
Yes.
Nautical miles? How do you say that?
2,500? Yeah, it's 2,500 nautical miles.
Nautical miles.
2,000 miles.
And you just got back from that in March,
months
right?
ago, months and 10 days.
December 23rd to March 4th. Those are the dates. And 3 years before that, in 2022, you went from California to Hawaii. That was 91 days. Yes. I remember I was watching on the sidelines.
Oh, yeah.
The whole thing. It was absolutely amazing.
Well, my plan was to do 70 days, but it happened to be 91. So you just have to get there.
You made it. Made it. We want to hear about that.
Yeah, and that was the second attempt, right?
Second attempt, yeah. First attempt was a failure after a week because of technical issues on the boat and a very bad weather for several days. But it's part of the learning, right? Yeah.
And I was watching that too. So we will go over that in a little bit. And in 2016, you were part of a team of 4. And you went from, again, California to Hawaii on a rowing trip.
Right. So the difference was rowing instead of kayaking.
Yeah.
So you use oars, you go backward, and it took us 39 days.
Yeah. So that was your first world record. Then the second one was Pacific crossing, and you're waiting for your third one, which is the Atlantic crossing.
Yes.
So you are absolutely amazing.
Well, it's only because nobody else has done it before.
Exactly. So, you're the first person who has done that.
Yeah, it's easy because there's not much competition.
Well, we're going to get to that because we're going to say why, how.
There's probably a reason there haven't been other people before, right?
That's right. It takes so much. And among many other things, you are a citizen of the world. You live in many different countries. You speak 6 languages. Mm-hmm. You are adventure, obviously. Mm-hmm. You are extreme athlete. Extreme, emphasize on the word extreme.
No, I would say extraordinary, not extraordinary, but other than ordinary. Extraordinary.
Outside of the ordinary.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, that's a good way to describe that. You are a motivational speaker.
Mm-hmm.
You said you just came back from Virginia yesterday, last night?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so who did you talk to?
I was a crowd of 750 people, and they were from the human resource. It was
Okay.
a seminar for 3 days,
Okay.
and I was a closing speaker. And the idea was, right now it's very tumultuous times in the country, in human resource, in companies.
Yeah.
And then the theme was uncharted waters.
Okay.
How do you create a mind where you're ready to face just about anything, and how do you adapt to change?
Okay.
And by leaning into change, that was the message. You can adapt, and that's it. For an adventure like mine or life, you have to adapt.
That's a great name for that
That's
talk.
right.
Uncharted
Uncharted
waters.
Uncharted
I know,
waters.
I like
Yeah,
it.
and
I
how do you
like
use
it.
your mind to reframe and how to see the same reality in a different way?
Okay.
And so after 3 days of them looking at the different challenges that are happening right now, having
Okay.
AI in a human resource, or having uncertainty and all these different topics.
Yeah.
I was just launching up to, come on, go after it. There's an inner fire you have to have, and
Yeah.
it was really fun. I love it.
Okay. We will talk about that as well. And you have your own online store, On the Water 360.
Yeah, that's
I-
when you're in an adventure like this, you're 3 months on the water,
Right.
So you need to have a way to keep making a living,
Yeah.
while you're not there, and create that life that allows you to be an adventurer, right?
Okay.
Because I still have to pay mortgages, they have to pay everything else, right? So
Like everyone else.
yeah, and it's creating that life that allows you to do what you want to do.
Yeah, you got great stuff. I got life jacket, pants, everything I got from you
Booties, right?
are booties too. Yeah, top notch. And he also gave me this water bottle thing.
Yeah.
It's everything is the best.
Well, here's the thing. I'm a paddler, so I know what's good, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Fantastic. So anything else we need to know about your background before we get started? Anything we missed so far?
No, I mean, citizen of the world, I think, is the big one.
Yeah.
I lived in France until I was 18, and then I lived, not just traveled, but lived in many other countries.
Correct.
Lived in England for a year, in Spain for a year, in Italy for 2 years. I did a trip around the world when I was 25, backpacking.
Okay.
Then I moved to Brazil for a year, and then Argentina for 2 years. So that's, I think traveling is just allows you to have different filters of the
Okay.
world. And for like youth, when you're 18, 20, I think it should be mandatory to go a year overseas.
A year
Just
of
changes
gap
your
year,
life.
huh? Okay.
Yes.
Perspective, and
yeah.
understanding that everybody doesn't live the same way that you
Yeah.
do or have the same thought processes.
Yeah. So I was lucky to do that, and
Yeah.
ended up in California.
Okay, well, that's one of our questions actually. You lived in many different countries. You speak 6 languages. You could be technically anywhere,
Yeah.
but you choose Sausalito. Now, we are in the lovely Sausalito here. Everyone can see it is one of the most beautiful places
Yeah.
on
I love
earth.
it. Yes.
But why did you decide to move over here? How long you have been here? What kept you here?
Yeah. I think it's not all chosen. I think life took me here by, chance. And I guess you look at the opportunities and you take them.
Okay.
And then I think my philosophy is to really look what really excites me at the moment.
Okay.
And I just follow my heart. So it could have been that I lived in Brazil for 20 years. It could have been that I, came here or another country. It just happened that, I was working the wine business for 12 years and I really loved it here. So I stayed, and who knows what I'll do in the future. But right now it's where my heart is.
But you've been here for what, 15 years?
Yes, 15 years.
Yeah, so it is a long time.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm not moving anytime soon.
Right, you fell in love with Sausalito at some point, right? I
Yes.
had to imagine that. And
Yeah.
you were in the wine business too.
I was, yeah.
How are you?
I
Really?
was a wine broker for private clientele. And I
Okay.
traveled all over the world doing small production wines from all over,
All right.
which was amazing. Getting to kind of go to the Hospice de Beaune wine auction.
Oh,
I
I
don't know
love
if you've
it.
ever done that.
No, I want to do this.
It's
I want to go back.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. Anyways, but yes,
And I think I forgot something. You have a master in international business,
Yeah.
correct? From Oxford?
Well, it's a French school. It's a
Okay.
master's degree, but it was a year in Oxford, England, a year in
I
Spain,
see.
a year in Paris.
Okay,
Yeah.
very nice. And so that's quite a deviation from what you were trained to do, I assume.
Well, I would say it's exactly what I did. I think if you're in business, it's
Yeah.
the most versatile
because you're running businesses, and my specialty was small business. We're 3-4 employees.
Yeah.
And I got into the wine business because I like the quality of the wine and the product.
Okay.
So I was not the expert winemaker, but I was working with other winemakers that were the expert in.
And you were consulting, is that right?
Yes, we're consulting, going to wineries and taste their wines. And,
that's awesome.
and see what they want to do, how they want to change it, maybe
Okay.
improve a different category of wine style.
Okay.
And really, it's great.
So you were going to Napa and Sonoma a lot?
Everywhere, Central Coast. I was going to Oregon, everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good job. Yeah. So what do you love about Sausalito? I'm sure there are many things, but tell us a few.
Some of your favorite things.
Yeah, I think it just has that small town feeling.
Yeah.
Where after 5-6 years, people know you, you know them.
Right.
And everything is accessible. You can walk everywhere. The weather is really good. I mean, the banana belt here just makes it super sunny all the time, and it could be foggy on the Golden Gate. It's going to be nice here.
There are plenty of times as I drove through the bridge, it was completely foggy and dark on the other side. The moment I crossed the bridge, it was like sunny and beautiful.
Yeah.
But
Here's the thing. I moved to California. I was 32.
Okay.
I had never kayaked.
All right.
So I started using these waters. I mean, isn't that amazing?
So how did you learn about kayaking around here? What was
A friend of mine, his name is Tevita from Fiji. He said, "Hey, you should come paddle with us."
Okay.
And I said, yes. I went once. I loved it. I went
Okay.
twice, 3 times, and then it was just it. That's it. Doing a race.
And then you're across the ocean.
And then
Well, that took many years, right?
no, and that's the thing too about, I think, in California in general, but here in particular, I really believe you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
You believe that, huh?
Of course. And you
Okay.
have people that say, hey, let's go mountain biking, let's go hiking, let's go to this yoga retreat, let's go kayaking.
Yeah.
That's it. Before you know it, you have a California trunk where everything's ready in your trunk, where you could go hiking, you could go mountain biking, you could go camping, and that's it. You follow the energy.
Yeah. I mean, we do have the best of the best here. We got everything right here in California, in Sausalito. And you were just telling us right now, for this moment, you actually live on a boat right over here. So what does the feel like every morning?
I mean, I think it's living on a boat or those houseboats.
Yeah.
It's just quality of life, you know. When you walk on the pier, there's a different energy right there. So there's options to live on land if you love it. There's options to be on the boat. And again, for me, I follow what makes the most sense for me. Maybe I'm not going to stay there forever, but for now it works really well. Wake up. I mean, the sunrise is right here over Angel Island and Alcatraz.
Yeah.
The sunset is going to be on the other side, but the sky could turn pink.
Right.
You know, and it feels just great to be on the water, or not far from the water.
Right.
Yeah, we've done. Have you done some of the full moon paddles? Here
Yeah.
that they do
He's
at
on the
CTAC?
water like all the time.
Yeah.
You're on the
This
water.
is-
all the
but
time.
seriously,
Yeah.
look, this is my whole backyard.
Yeah.
That's right.
I love it when, you know, on a Friday, it's 5 p.m. Everybody's going home to wherever they have to go,
Yeah.
and they're one after the other in the car. I'm here on the water alone.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is the best.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, and we're going to do another interview after this with a woman named Lisa who lives on a floating home
Yeah,
in the
right.
community here. So we'll get additional information
But-
about how great that is.
I do agree with you. At night, when everyone is gone, on the water is completely different. The view here is just amazing.
Yeah. And then Sausalito has that from any house, you could see the water, you could see the bay.
That's
Right?
right.
And it's a protected waters. You're not looking on the other side where it's windy and cold.
That's right.
You're always going to see here, you see the boats going on. There's always something to look at. So
Right.
if you need the peace, it's a good place to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But one question I had for a very, very long time, I'm sure many people have the same question, like for your Atlantic crossings and all your ventures. What made you, what was the driver behind all that? Because those are extreme
It's
journeys.
extreme, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It took many years to prepare.
Yeah,
Right?
and how did that feel, like biting off such a big thing? Like, how did you process that?
Yeah, it's gradual, right? What the amazing thing is, I started paddling when I was 32.
Right.
I started working on that project to cross alone the ocean. I was 42, so it's only 10 years.
Okay.
It's really short to span from beginner to an expert. in some
Expert,
way,
right.
And build the right boat for the right crossing. I think it's just the threshold is pushed a little bit. I pushed my comfort zone, but every time I pushed my comfort zone, I found that I was actually comfortable in that new environment. Right?
Okay.
I did a race, 15 miles. And then the next one was, there's a race in Hawaii, from the Molokai to Oahu. It's 46 miles. Okay, we trained for that.
Sounds amazing.
And then there's a race, 100 miles at the California River Quest, 100 miles. I did that. It's 12 hours.
Okay.
And I pushed my comfort zone, and that was my new threshold.
I see.
Incremental.
Right.
see.
And I really love to see how much I can do, a little bit more at a time, though, right?
Yeah.
Never really pushing the envelope too far, too fast.
Mhm.
It's not like I woke up, I'm going to cross the ocean. And then I did another race at the Yukon River Quest in Canada.
Right.
That's 440 miles,
Okay.
50 hours. And I did that 3 times. And I found pleasure into the ultra endurance,
Mhm.
where you have to manage not only the body, but also the mind and your nutrition and your gear. And I was pretty good at this. So little by little, I just did a bit more.
So if I look on your website, there are many adventures that you have done,
Yeah.
right? The list is very, very long. So you're saying basically every adventure is one step forward towards a goal. And one day you just decided I'm going to
Yeah,
cross
I
the
can do
ocean.
that. I feel you cannot fake think you can do it, right? You have to believe at your core.
Right.
Because you could say, I want to cross the ocean, but if you, inside you still have fear and still don't know,
Right.
then you could fail, right? You
Okay.
have to trust it at your core that, yes, I can do this.
And what I think is really amazing is that you did have the initial trip where you started out and you had to turn around, right? All of these
Yes.
things happened, but you did it again. So the mental fortitude that it takes to go from
Right.
that to trying
Well,
it again. I mean, how did you
So there's
do that?
a theory and the belief that
Yeah.
you're ready to do it, which I just talked about.
Right.
But then there's a reality,
Right.
right? I felt I was really ready. I
Mm-hmm.
got on the boat, took off from Fort Baker, just under the Golden Gate, amazing, on an ebb, which is the tide is going out.
Yeah.
And I thought I was ready. But then the reality is I wasn't ready fully, because that you put a storm and then you feel so tiny, so vulnerable that, it's just a different reality. So the whole thing is to pick up and say, okay, I don't want to give up the dream. How do I prepare for that?
Do you
How
think
do I
that
do it?
when you had the situation where you started out and then you had to stop, right? And you had to reconfigure your idea, that it really helped you understand what those things were that you needed to fix to make it
Oh, sure.
successful?
Yeah. I mean, I had to, because there's only 5 people that have crossed ocean before on a kayak.
Is that
So
right?
I
5.
read
Okay.
all the books. I
Uh-huh.
listened to all the podcasts. I
Uh-huh.
talked to the 4 people that have done it.
I
Right.
see.
But until you're yourself with your butt on the boat,
Yeah.
and faced with reality,
Right.
you're not prepared.
No.
So the reality is just the best way to prepare
Yeah.
for the right experience.
And it's always, the world's going to throw different things at
Right.
you, and there's going to be challenges for sure. And that's the question I want to ask with regard to the kayak that you use. So you studied for a long time and figured out how to build this thing.
Yep.
My understanding is that it was built in such a way that if there's a big storm, you just go in and you get down and seal it up, and it's
Yep.
waterproof.
Yeah. It was built for safety.
Okay.
You have different types of kayak. You have kayak for speed on the river. You
Right.
have kayak or sea kayaks to go on the coast, and
Right.
this is an ocean kayak. And the
Okay.
reason is I'm going to be 3 months alone.
Right.
It has to have a big capacity to have my food,
Right.
make
everything you
water,
need.
etc. But safety was first. So if there's a storm, I do capsize.
Yeah.
It has to self-righten.
Okay.
So how do you build the boat with the right structure and the right weight at the right place so that it would capsize, and then it would self-righten, and then if it does get swamped, it will never sink. So it's unsinkable.
Okay.
Safety.
Unsinkable, huh?
It's
Okay.
unsinkable. Yeah.
All
And
right.
what is that like? So in the middle of a storm, this is what I'm imagining. You go under there, you don't know what is going on outside, right? And you're just like, what does that feel like?
It's scary at first, but then your mind, you have to train yourself on the months coming so that you don't get stressed.
Right, because you
Right.
could panic, right?
Oh,
did
you
you
could.
have any panic?
Oh yeah,
attacks?
I did panic. That's why I got rescued the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I did everything for the mental training. I did
Yeah.
Zazen meditation. I did hypnosis. I did
You
cold.
did that, huh?
Yeah, I did cold plunge. I
You
tried
what?
everything. Yes.
Okay.
Well, because
It's a lot of mental fortitude.
you feel so tiny in that
Yeah.
cabin. It has to feel like a cocoon. You shouldn't feel like you're trapped.
right.
But everything that's going on outside, you need to trust your boat that it's unsinkable, that it will self-righten. Yeah, it's not comfortable, but your brain can adapt to that.
Yes.
You just have to get there.
I've seen your boat.
Yeah.
It's not that big. And I've seen videos of you in the boat. You're basically just like this. That's how you slept every night.
Oh yeah,
right?
it's only on my back,
Yeah.
because if I go on the side, then my head is like this all the time at
Oh,
night.
right.
It's rocking and rolling. So if it's really stormy, then I would put a strap on my shoulders and my hips.
Yeah.
So if I do capsize, I don't end up on the top where it hit my head.
Oh my gosh. And I also listened to one of your interviews. You basically said you slept 1 hour at a time. You had to set your alarm for every hour because that's the speed of a container boat can get to you. They can't see you, so they could just run you over. So you could only sleep 1 hour at a time.
So it's very simple. I broadcast my position to other boats, and I see the other boats. But I can only see a distance of 20 nautical miles.
Right.
Now, if you have a container ship that goes 18 miles an hour,
Right.
I won't see him before the 18 miles.
Yeah.
So if I have a radius where there's nothing on my plotter,
Right.
then I know for 1 hour I'm safe, I can sleep. So I'll
1
sleep
hour
for an
at a
hour,
time.
wake up, I'm good. Another hour.
Oh my God, that's
I mean, does that take a
absolutely
huge
insane.
toll on you?
Oh yeah, sleep deprivation is a big one.
Yeah.
And the first 2 weeks, it's hard because you have that sleep deprivation where you go from sleeping 8 hours to that.
Yeah.
And then seasickness, I'm always seasick for 4 or 5 days.
You were.
Then you just get used to it.
You get used to
Yeah,
you have
your body.
your internal balance will
Right.
adapt. Your brain, you just have to go through it. I
Oh my
force myself to
gosh,
drink
okay.
and eat so I don't get dehydrated. And then there's the paddling. I paddle 10 to 12 hours a day. So how do you?
Right.
I was
Go-
reading you burn 8,000 calories a day.
No, 4,000.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's a lot already. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I've
4,000.
bulked before. I eat a lot. I get a bit fat.
Okay.
And my strategy is to go home in France, and my mommy will do that in a week.
Yeah.
So, just walk us through a little bit. Like, what's a day like on the boat? First of all, what do you eat? I know the boat is not that big at all, and you carried so much food for the trip, and they are dry food. What kind of food?
So freeze dry meals, anything for
Like,
camping,
just
bars, and yes,
That's
it's counted 4,000 calories, so it's twice as much as I would normally eat as a human adult, like male. So you eat all day long, and also have to wake up at night to eat. It's
Well, you don't have a whole lot else to do other than
you're
paddling, right? You're
and
paddling
eat,
and
paddling
eating.
and eat. Yeah.
No. I heard you saying like, oh, breakfast is hour, lunch is hour, dinner is hour. I was thinking like you have like 3 courses of vegetables. Let's talk
Yeah,
about
so-
what you eat.
I never heat the water because
Okay.
it could burn me. It could be, prevented from finishing the crossing if I get
Okay.
burnt. Would you get infected? So I only eat cold. And those freeze-dry meals, just put cold water.
Delicious.
Yeah,
Oh my
leave
God.
it longer and just eat the pasta cold. Everything cold.
Well, no wonder you lost so much weight on this trip.
But it makes it even
appealing.
better when you get to land
Mhm.
to have a nice warm meal.
Oh,
What was
yeah.
the first meal you had when you landed?
Well, cheese. I'm French.
Cheese.
What
Just
was
a nice charcuterie cheese platter.
Cheese and
That's still cold, but okay.
yeah, but fresh fruits, mango.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, any fruits and veggies because I didn't have that for 3 months.
Yeah, you didn't have any fresh
Wow.
stuff for 3 months. You didn't even see a human being for 3 months,
Yes,
right?
I didn't walk for 3 months.
So
Right.
what? So I was wondering, do you get in and swim ever? And then I saw in one of the videos I did see you get out
Yep.
of the. Like, how often would you actually
just
get
once.
out of the? Oh,
Yeah,
just
I
once.
do it for a purpose, which is removing the barnacles that are on the
Oh,
hull. That
correct.
slow me down. They grow so fast.
Oh.
Right.
But, I see a lot of animals down there. I see sharks. I see swordfish. I don't want to go down there. I
You
don't have to.
You don't. Okay.
So you only got out once the entire
Just once.
trip?
And in Atlantic, I didn't go once.
oh my
really?
gosh.
Yeah, I have a really good anti-fouling paint on the hull, so I know nothing's going to grow.
Okay.
And that was
So
my
no
plan.
standing up.
No. Well, I can stand for like 20 seconds,
Okay.
but it's rocking and rolling, so I just sit down again.
In one of the interviews, you have mentioned between your first attempt of Pacific crossing and the second trip, you actually learned how to dive from Diver Dave, who I know, who
Yes.
saved my car keys one time in the dock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's funny.
So, yeah, after my first attempt, so I had quit my job.
Right.
So that could take 3 months to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Now, when I come back after a week, I want to try again in a year, but who's going to hire me knowing that I was going to go away. So then I said, okay, how can I train to be better? Right. So I went to see David Day, who's a friend. He's a paddler as well. And I said, maybe I could work from you and learn how to be underwater for an hour at a time. Because one of the issues I would get rescued was that sea anchor got entangled in my rudder.
Right.
And I didn't feel like I was good enough to go and untangle it in the storm.
Right.
So by being a diver, that would allow me to make enough money, keep training, work on the boat, but also get accustomed to being underwater.
Correct.
So it's all sacrifice, but it's towards the goal of making the crossing happen.
And luckily, you didn't have to use that skill many times, right?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's good to prepare.
But you need to be able to do it if you have to.
Right.
Preparation is everything.
Exactly. So part of that for your trips, you prepare for months or years at a time.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through, what did you do to prepare?
Well, there's the physical training, obviously. If you paddle 12 hours a day, your joints and your tendons have to be strong enough so that you don't get, injury.
Okay.
How do you train for that? It's really tough. So I got to do just a lot of, any discipline, running, biking, swimming, kayaking, obviously, yoga.
Right.
Just a bunch of different areas so that I would just have a body that is very well tuned.
Okay.
And that worked really well for me. And then there's the mental side. And the mental side is how do you do? I've already talked about trying anything, just going in cold water and being okay with discomfort. Or I would go running, then I see the lake. Okay, I take my t-shirt off, put it in the water, cold water, put it back, keep running.
So basically torturing yourself.
Yeah.
Basically
Oh my gosh.
It's being okay with...
But that's so true
discomfort.
because you have to be in that type of situation. I mean, I'm thinking about imagining myself going and doing something like this, and it's the mental that's the hardest, right? The physical you can train much more easily, I think, than the mental, and to stop yourself from having a panic attack, because you're in big trouble if you have a panic attack in those types of situations, because you forget how to do things, right, when you can't think straight. And so
and now we're talking about emergencies.
Yeah.
But even if the water is flat and you're still alone for 3 weeks, how do you prevent yourself from becoming crazy?
Did you talk to yourself?
3 months.
Of course, I talk to myself. I talk to the clouds.
Soccer ball. What's that movie?
Oh, yeah. Castaway.
Yeah,
Castaway?
I would talk to my flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, my flag is a French flag. It's called it Frenchie.
Yeah.
And
They all have
it would have a
names.
personality depending if it's wet or if it's flap a different way. What are you? You're not happy, Frenchie?
Do you sing to yourself?
Oh, I do everything. I talk to myself for hours.
Okay. I remember when you first came back from the Pacific crossing, you look like Tom Hanks from Castaway.
Yeah, adventure
Really,
beer,
right?
like a Viking, you mean?
Yeah, I think I saw him. We saw you right when we were doing the paddle
Regatta.
The regatta,
Yeah.
And same for the Atlantic. It's part of the adventure. You come back with a big beard.
Uh-huh.
And then once the adventure is done and you're ready to move on, then you trim it.
Okay.
So did you have any experiences, encounters with animals while you were out there?
Oh, yeah. Well, both the Pacific and the Atlantic, I saw the whales at the very beginning.
All right.
And those are fun. They're not in danger at all. They just come and they pop out and they go. I've seen dolphins. I've seen sharks.
Okay.
And there's one moment I was really scared. It's a swordfish. It was as big as my boat. It's like 20 feet long.
Swordfish that big.
So huge. I was so afraid.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. You feel like so vulnerable.
Yeah. What do you think might happen?
Well, there's accounts of they would hit boats. And
really?
Rowing boats, yes.
Okay.
Like the whales were used to.
Yeah,
attack.
and we don't know if it's because they're chasing a fish and then they hit the boat by mistake,
Right.
or it's because they feel like you're in
Intentional.
danger. Yeah, so I was just feeling so small.
Okay.
It's like, just go away, please. I'm not doing anything. And he just finally left. But
Did you have a conversation?
look at you, Ying. You're so scared.
Did you have a conversation with him? With the?
Oh yeah, it was like I was hiding.
I said, please, save me.
Yeah, just
Let me
go
go.
away. I don't want anything to use. Yeah.
But nothing did happen to you. I mean,
No, I was lucky,
nothing terrible happened to you, right?
But, psychologically, I just can't imagine, 3 months without seeing a human being. Obviously, very limited communication. I know you had some communication.
If I had to, I could speak to them on the phone. It's a sat phone.
Right.
But I mostly text. It's a satellite text.
So you could text.
Yeah,
Okay.
I text my land support every day,
Right.
saying, okay, here's how I'm feeling, the emotions, the physique, and here's how the boat is doing, and the environment. My weather router, it's a professional guy who was telling me the weather for the next 3 days.
Right.
yeah, that's how I communicate with them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better than being. I mean, if you were completely without
Yeah.
communication.
Oh, that would be a different level. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the next adventure.
Yeah. Maybe, oh, don't get me started with that.
yeah. We will get to that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So like, did you ever have some just meltdowns and some moments, and because there's a lot of fear, right? You did mention
So
there
the
is.
fear, you can't really prevent fear, but
Right.
you have to know how to snap out of it or deal with it,
Okay.
and that's okay. I actually was pretty good in fears,
Okay.
especially the Atlantic. Having done the Pacific 90 days, 70 days is okay. I've done that.
It's easier.
It's easier because you've done it before,
Okay.
right? I've done it
So you
before.
can do it. You know.
Yes, exactly. There's 25 knots of wind. It's going to be big wave, big swell. It's going to crash around your boat, maybe on your boat. I've done it before.
Okay.
So it's easier once you've done it, right?
Okay. And how are the two crossings different, like in terms of weather or just overall experience?
So it's hard to say because I've done it only once each.
Right.
But I guess if you were doing the Atlantic 5 times in a row, it would be 5 times difference,
Okay.
right? I think the main difference is the Atlantic is longer, 100 nautical miles longer, but it took me 3 weeks less to do it.
Okay.
And that's because of the trade winds that are
I
the
see.
current and the wind are taking you faster. So it's more relentless because the intensity is stronger. For 1 month and a half, it was really intense,
Okay.
but you get there earlier, so it's good.
So, what were some of the thoughts going through your mind in those moments? Oh, the many. I'm
Oh,
sure
it's
there
so
are
hard.
many,
Yeah,
many.
it's hard to say. It's like your regular life. You wake up, you're in a good mood. Yeah, the next day, tomorrow, it's going to be different. The only difference, I think, is you have to deal with it on your own. And it takes a lot of self-awareness. You have to know where you are physically, mentally, and emotionally. So I'm emotional, so I cry maybe every day.
It's hard to
Seriously.
imagine.
Yeah, just to...
You usually cry every day, or
No,
on
no,
the
never.
trip?
Yes. No, it's just a trip. It's just, you
Okay.
start to think about your friends
Yeah.
or your family, and then you miss them. And
That's
Yeah,
right.
and you're a
And then-
very social person.
yeah, and you're sleep deprived, or maybe you have hallucination, or it feels like forever. You have like another 10 weeks to get to Hawaii. So
Yeah.
then you have to know, okay, it's too much, snap out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is not good, detrimental. So it's being able to compartmentalize
Mhm.
the emotions at the right moment, and that's
the
crucial.
training, right?
Crucial.
That's part of preparation you did
Yep.
to recognize the moment that you have to tell yourself to stop.
Yes.
Yeah. And you mentioned that the story of the one tier, where
Oh yeah.
I thought that was fascinating, and I assume you have many moments like that. But tell us about the story
So
of
the
the
tier.
one tier.
Yeah.
One travel
Um,
tier.
So here's the thing. After 50 days, you go into a different level where you completely decluttered. There's no email, no phone, no calendar, no social media. So
No,
for
that sounds
50
wonderful.
days,
I know
Yeah.
it doesn't
50
sound so
days.
bad. It doesn't
it's
sound
just
so bad.
like the environment, right?
Right.
So there's a connection that happens with the environment, with the ocean, with the animals, and even the clouds and the wind. And so that spirituality come to be very real when
Yeah.
there was this, I was crying one day,
Right.
and there's one tear on my cheek, right? It's salty water.
Right.
And then the ocean splashes on my leg, and I see that
Same
tear
water.
of the ocean telling me, look, we're the same. And then you just realize this is crazy. Yes, we are the same like the ocean. I had been drinking water from the ocean for months.
Right.
That means all my water in my body, which is 80% of my body mass, is ocean water.
Correct.
So, right?
Yeah.
So I'm one.
Yeah.
And that's just one reality. And then you feel like, okay, well, I don't have to have any fears because I'm just one with
We're all
with
part of the
oneness.
same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's quite
That's
powerful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's just a very meaningful moment, I'm sure, in your journey. Did you have any other moments like that, or any other insights?
Oh, there's so many others. So in the Atlantic, I felt also the connection with the ocean.
Right.
It was the swell. The swell was bigger.
Okay.
So imagine the swell coming behind you because I'm going downwind right dizzy. That's a wave. And another one. And wave after wave. So the wave will crash and it'll create oxygen, right? And the fish need the oxygen to breathe.
Right.
And then the waves are created by the wind, which is also linked to the clouds. And again, you feel the connection between all these different elements, and you're like, well, the ocean is really just the lungs of the world. Again, the ocean is so much compared to the land mass.
Correct.
And you feel the breath of Earth. So it's kind of a concept that you create in your own mind, but it's very real at the moment. I'm feeling the breath of the Earth. It's so cool.
It is amazing, and with how harried and crazy our lives are these days with technology and everything, it's hard for people to get those kinds of moments. I think that's special.
And I'm writing a book right now, and I think that's what I want to talk about is
Really? Okay.
this experience that I felt that you don't really feel on land.
That's right.
And in some ways, I want people to finish the book when it's done, because it's a work in itself.
Okay.
It's another expedition in itself.
All right.
But the idea would be to say, okay, you felt that. I haven't felt that in my human life. Like, how can I get to live that feeling too? I would like that.
Experience, right? Experience
And I think
all those moments.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people can vicariously live through you,
Yeah.
rather than necessarily going out and doing that journey themselves.
Yeah, like I will never do that journey, by the way, but I'm just so excited to be part of it, because I was on the sideline when you did the first attempt, and I remember the fanfare and everyone was so excited.
Yeah.
Then I remember the second time you went, it was absolutely quiet. I didn't know until you left.
Yes.
Right?
Well, that was one of my
difference.
decisions. After the first one, I thought it was too much hype.
Yeah.
It was great to have the natural way of doing is to share as much as I can. Look, I'm doing this amazing thing.
Right.
And then people, tell you this is great, but then you get a reward for something you haven't done.
Right.
And I felt a bit cheating to come back after 6 days, rescued. So I said, my second time, I'm going to go from Monterey, not from the Golden Gate,
Right.
and nobody will know. I want more peaceful. I want to be ready to go. And then once I get to Hawaii, then
That's where you'll have your arrival.
It's great. I mean, because you go back to the basics. You go back to what's important, not the superficial things, but rather you want to do this journey. And, that's your goal. It's not because we're all on the sideline. You're like, great job, right?
And it's part of the learning. You dare high.
Yeah.
Then you live the adventure.
Yeah.
And then you learn from your failure. And then from the learning, you adapt.
Yeah.
And that's what I had to do between the two attempts.
Right. Which is amazing, by the way. And when you did it, was like, this is fantastic. And then you did it again, obviously, a different trip. So, which leads us to ask our last question.
Right.
What's next?
Well, okay, so I was a month and 10 days on the water when I got to Martinique. It's very soon, right? So I need to digest this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've got a virus there. There's always going to be something else. But one thing is, after a big expedition like this, you're 2 months alone on the water, you come back. The readjustment to real life is quite difficult. It's not very difficult, but it's psychologically, you have to give yourself time, right?
It's different.
So before, I think the easiest would be to rebound and say, okay, I'm going to do this new one.
Yeah.
And that's reassuring because I have something to focus on. But I want to give myself like 2, 3, 4 months before I decide anything. But I've got a few ideas.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Can you share?
You're not going to share your
No, I'm not going to share.
You have to stay tuned for the follow-up.
We do know that you're writing a book. Do you have a title for your book?
Not yet, but that's another thing, right?
Okay.
How do I find the right title and the right book? First, I need just to sit down, write an hour every day.
Yeah.
And then it'll form itself. It's like every project. I think we can't have the final picture before we start. We think, okay, the project is going to be step 1, step 2, step 3. We think linearly, but like writing the book, like any expedition I've done, is I kind of have a vision in my head, but it's more like a puzzle. So you put one piece and another piece, you still don't see anything.
Correct.
And then once you keep just working at it, then you see the picture.
See how it comes together.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and you're available for motivational speaking, right?
Oh yeah, I would
You
love
do
that. Yeah.
those types of things. So
And your online store is open 24/7 if anyone wants to.
Yeah, and even coaching. I'd love to.
coaching.
If you have a dream that you haven't done, I think I have this ability to take a big goal and break it down to small pieces.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And after my talks, there's always somebody who says, for 10 years, I wanted to start painting or do that triathlon or go overseas, learn a language, lose, whatever it is. Well, let's figure it out together. Like, how can I help you make that dream happen?
Okay.
Well, that's great. And I think it's exciting. And now we'll just have to wait to see what you're up to next.
You'll come soon.
We'll find out. We'll find out. Well, thanks again for joining us today, and it has been such a great pleasure to, learn so much from you.
Thank you.
And
we will follow your adventures.
Yeah, and if you're in Sausalito, just look on the water. You probably see me paddling around.
Well, you're just so fast. you get it. See you for 5 seconds. So yes. Thank you, everyone. Bye now.